Hi everyone, welcome back. Let's write some more Leetcode today. Today we are solving number of equivalent domino pairs. So we will be given a list of dominoes, and a domino is considered equivalent to another domino if both their first elements and their second elements are equal, or the first element is equal to the other second element and the other second element is equal to the other first element. And we want to return a number of pairs that we can make from the list of dominoes. So if we look at this example, we can return one pair from here. And if we look at this example, we can return three pairs because we can form one pair here and we can form another pair with this and this. And then we can form another pair with this and this. So now that we have seen some examples, let's get to how we can solve this problem. Before we get to solving the problem, I hope we notice some patterns here. So if we see that if there are two equivalent dominoes, we can form one pair. With three equivalent dominoes, we can form three pairs. And with four equivalent dominoes, we can form six pairs. So basically, the number of equivalent dominoes can follow this formula, or arithmetically, we add with this sequence. So we can either count up all the number of equivalent dominoes and then add them up to result using this formula, or we can add arithmetically as we iterate through the list of dominoes. And I will use this one for my example, but you can also use this formula if you like. So what we can do is, as we iterate through this list of dominoes, we can first add the number of instances to result, and then we can update the hash map. And also, for example, these two will be considered equivalent, but if they want to belong to the same key in the hash map, they will have to be in the same order. So for me, I would just always sort the tuple so that they can always belong to the same key. So let's go over this example real quick. So first we come here, there's 0 instances, so we don't add anything to result, and then we need to update the hash map. Come to the next key, we see there's 1 instance, so we add 1 to result and then update the hash map. Come to the next instance, we don't see any instance, but we need to update the hash map. Now we come here, we see that there's 2 instances of this key, so we need to add 2 to result, and then we need to update the hash map. And now we come to the end, there's no instances of 2 and 2, so we add nothing to the result, and then we update the hash map. So now that we have come to the end, we can return 3 as our results. So time complexity of this would be O of n, where n is the number of elements in the array, because that is what we will be iterating through. And the space complexity would be O of n as well, because the hash map can take up to n space. So now let's get to the coding part. So first we'll initiate the hash map as the default dictionary of int and initialize the result as 0. And now we will look through dominoes. So for x and y in dominoes, if s is smaller, then we will add to count of x, y as the key. And then we need to update the tuple key right after we add to result. Plus 1. Otherwise, we will add to the tuple key where y comes first if y is smaller or equal to x. So count of tuple y comma x. And then we will add to the hash map by 1 for that key, and then we can return result, see if it works. Okay, perfect. Hope this was helpful. Thank you all for watching. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to leave it in the comment section, and I hope to see you all again soon.